Have you ever seen a moment so full of kindness that it made the whole world feel softer for a second? That's what happened on a late-night flight from Denver to Orlando, a moment that started with frustration, exhaustion, and a crying baby, and ended with strangers realizing how powerful a small act of kindness can be. It's the kind of moment that reminds us there is still so much good left in people, good we often forget about until life forces us to slow down and see it. On that flight, everyone thought it would be a normal trip. But no one knew that seat 17C held a single dad who was seconds away from breaking down, and across the aisle sat a single mother who had lived that same struggle, and was about to do something no one expected. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment to support the channel. Kindness. The single dad's baby wouldn't stop crying on the plane, until a single mother did the unthinkable. Your support helps us share more stories that warm the heart and inspire kindness in everyday life. The story begins with Matthew, a 29-year-old single dad traveling alone with his 6-month-old son, Noah. It was Noah's first time on an airplane, and from the moment the plane took off, he was overwhelmed by the noise, the pressure, the unfamiliar sky outside the window. Within minutes of liftoff, he started crying. At first it was soft, just little whimpers. But soon it turned into a full, uncontrollable meltdown. Matthew bounced him gently, whispered, "It's okay, buddy," and tried everything he could think of, his bottle, his pacifier, rocking him, even walking down the aisle when the seatbelt sign turned off. But nothing worked. The passengers around them started shifting uncomfortably. A few sighed loudly. One woman pressed her hands to her temples. A man across the aisle muttered something under his breath. Matthew's eyes filled with embarrassment and stress. He wasn't a bad father, he was just alone, tired, and trying so hard. But when people looked at him, he felt like he was failing. Across the aisle sat Emily, a single mother of 2 who was flying home after visiting family. The moment she saw the panic in Matthew's eyes and the redness of his tired face, she recognized it. She had lived that same moment years ago, on a different plane, with her own crying daughter, surrounded by the same impatient looks and heavy sighs. Her hands remembered what it felt like to tremble from exhaustion. Her heart remembered the loneliness. She watched Matthew bounce the baby again, his voice cracking as he said, "Please, please stop crying," and something in her just couldn't stay seated anymore. When the seatbelt sign turned off, Emily stood, stepped into the aisle, and asked softly, "Hey, can I help?" Matthew blinked, surprised. I don't want to bother anyone," he whispered, rocking Noah as his cries grew louder. "You're not bothering me," she said gently. "I've been there." "Really? Let me try." He hesitated for a moment. Handing your baby to a stranger is not easy. But something about her voice felt safe. Caring. Steady. And right now, he was drowning. He nodded. Emily lifted Noah into her arms with the practiced ease of a mother who had spent years soothing crying children. She held him close, swayed gently, and hummed a slow, comforting melody. Noah's cries, shockingly, began to soften. Then he hiccuped, blinked, and slowly, miraculously, calmed down. Within 2 minutes, he was asleep. The entire section of the plane stared, stunned. Matthew covered his face for a moment, overwhelmed with relief and gratitude. "Thank you," he said, his voice trembling. "I've tried everything." "I know you have," she said. "But sometimes babies just need a different pair of arms. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong." For the first time since the plane took off, Matthew let himself breathe. Emily stayed standing for several minutes, gently rocking Noah as he slept peacefully against her shoulder. The same woman who had sighed loudly earlier now stared with softened eyes. A couple who had looked annoyed now smiled. Even the man who had muttered rolled his shoulders back, looking ashamed. Kindness does that. It changes the temperature of a room without saying a word. Once Noah was fully asleep, Emily carefully handed him back, and Matthew held him with so much tenderness that it almost made her smile. "I don't know how to thank you," he said. "You don't need to thank me," she replied. "Just pay it forward someday. Someone helped me once. I'm just returning the kindness." They sat back down, but something in the atmosphere of the plane had shifted. People seemed gentler. Softer. A flight attendant brought Matthew a warm tea on the house. The woman who had sighed earlier leaned over and whispered, "You're doing great, honey." Even the man who had complained cleared his throat and said, "If you need anything, I can help." Matthew nodded, grateful. It wasn't just about Emily's act. Her kindness had reminded everyone on that plane that frustration is easy, but compassion is powerful. When the plane landed, Emily gathered her bags quickly. She had a connecting flight to catch. Matthew caught up to her near the exit. "Emily," he said breathlessly, "I didn't even get to tell you, you saved me tonight." She smiled, adjusted her backpack, and said, "No. You did great. You just needed a break. We all do sometimes." Before he could respond, she squeezed his arm lightly and disappeared into the crowd. Matthew held Noah close, whispering, "Someday, buddy, we're gonna help someone the way she helped us. I promise." Months later, Matthew kept that promise. He saw a young mom struggling in a grocery store, toddler screaming, arms full of bags, panic in her eyes. People stared. Some frowned. And Matthew stepped forward. "Hey," he said, using the same gentle tone Emily had used with him, "can I help?" Her eyes filled with relief. And just like that, kindness traveled forward again. That's the thing about kindness. It spreads in ways we don't always see. A small act on a plane can become a blessing in a grocery store. A moment of compassion can echo into the lives of strangers. And sometimes, we don't even realize we're holding the power to change someone's entire day, or even their whole view of the world. So the next time you see someone struggling, tired, overwhelmed, or just having a hard moment, offer a little kindness. Not because you expect anything back, but because someone out there once gave it to you. And in the quietest, simplest way, it made life a little softer. Be that softness for someone else. Be that moment of calm in their storm. Because kindness, especially the unexpected kind, is one of the most powerful forces we have. And tonight, somewhere in the world, a baby is sleeping peacefully because one single mother did the unthinkable. She reached out her hand when someone needed it most. And the world became better because of it.